The most fundamental principle of our government is natural law. This means that man is sovereign, accountable only to natural law. And it means that the federal government cannot rule over man. It is rather the servant of man. And it means that no man rules over another. This approach overcomes man's nature to become corrupted by power. As James Madison said in Federalist 51, if men were angels, no government would be necessary. The United States is the only country in the world to implement the concept of man and government being accountable to natural law. And it has changed the world. It has spurred the period of greatest progress man ever before achieved. Natural law is implemented by several features, including separation of power, federalism, and a Bill of Rights. Here is how these features were implemented in the Constitution. The first form of separation of powers is to divide government horizontally into three branches, an idea that came from French political theorist Montesquieu. This concept is implemented in Articles 1, 2, and 3 of our Constitution that define the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Each of these branches have checks and balances like the president's veto power, designed to prevent the other branches from violating the Constitution or to abuse their position, and the Senate's power to impeach the president or judges. And the federal judges have the power to interpret the constitutionality of laws. Most modern democracies around the world today have accepted some form of horizontal power separation. So this does not make our country unique. However, federalism, a method of vertical power distribution, does make our country unique, and it is the key method of implementing natural law. The concept is to limit the federal government to defined powers contained in Article 1, Section 8. This limitation prevents the federal government from getting involved directly with citizens, making citizens sovereign instead of government. Involvement with citizens is reserved to the states as explicitly stated in Amendment 10. James Madison put it this way in Federalist 45 when he said, "The powers delegated to the federal government are few and defined. Those which are to remain in the state governments are numerous and indefinite." Federal powers will be exercised principally on external objects as war, peace, negotiation, and foreign commerce. The powers reserved to the several states will extend to all the objects which, in the ordinary course of affairs, concern the lives, liberties, and properties of the people and the internal order, improvement, and prosperity of the state. Here is a summary of the powers of the federal government as enumerated in Article 1, Section 8. Tax and borrow money for the defense and general welfare of the states. Regulate commerce with foreign countries, between the states and Indian tribes. Control immigration and bankruptcy law. Coin money and punish counterfeiting. Set up post offices and post roads. Establish copyright, patent, and trademark law. Declare war. Maintain an army and a navy, and put down rebellions. Amendments 9 and 10 were added to put an exclamation point to the intent of this federal limitation. Our country quite faithfully adhered to this vertical separation of power for the first 120 years of our founding, and the world became a better place as a result. Then we started straying away from this principle. England counts the Magna Carta as one of its governing documents, and it claims that man has the rights of life, liberty, and property, but it does not have a constitution that establishes law to implement these rights. Ours is the only country that does. Other videos in this series explain what happened when we deviated from the Constitution and what precipitated it. Thank you, and this is Jeff Krupp.